There is a feeling within you, a quiet inner pulse that has the power to open doors you once believed were locked. It is not the feeling of wishing or hoping or begging life to grant you a miracle, but the feeling of knowing. Deep, steady, unshakable knowing that abundance is already flowing toward you. Most people chase the lottery with their minds filled with fear, scarcity, and desperate craving, but the ones who experience breakthroughs, the ones who find themselves in the right place at the right time, are those who choose a different inner state, a feeling of alignment with possibilities far bigger than their current circumstances. The common idea is that money comes from luck, but luck is only the surface expression. Underneath what the world calls luck is a field of energy responding to the vibration you hold. When you stand in harmony with that vibration, the world begins shaping events, encounters, and opportunities that match your emotional frequency. Lottery money, unexpected wealth, sudden financial openings, they are not random, they are the physical outcomes of inner states you cultivate long before the manifestation appears. The question is not how to win the lottery. The question is, what feeling aligns you with the same energy that money is made of? That feeling is not excitement or greed or impatience. It is not the frantic rush of craving more than you have. Those emotions close the door. They tighten your energy, shrink your belief, and connect you only to the vibration of lack. The feeling that opens the door is calm expectation, a grounded sense that what you desire is already on its way and your only task is to prepare yourself to receive it. When you desire something intensely but vibrate with doubt, you push it away. When you desire something calmly, joyfully, and with a sense of certainty, you become a magnet. Imagine for a moment standing at the threshold of a door. On the other side lies the manifestation you've been asking for. Financial freedom, relief from stress, the ability to breathe again, the chance to support those you love. The door does not open with force, it opens with alignment. And alignment comes from one place, the feeling you're broadcasting. If you send out fear, you meet fear. If you send out gratitude, you receive more to be grateful for. The universe is exquisitely simple in that way. There is a frequency inside you that matches wealth. Not the shallow, ego-driven desire to impress others, but the deeper, soul-anchored recognition that abundance is your birthright. When you tap into that recognition, you no longer chase money, you invite it. You no longer grasp for outcomes, you allow them. The energy of allowing is infinitely more powerful than the energy of forcing. Forcing comes from fear. Allowing comes from trust. And trust opens doors. The lottery is just a symbol. It is a symbol of possibility, a symbol of the unexpected, a symbol of the miraculous. People are drawn to it because it represents a moment in which the universe is free to express abundance in the most dramatic way. But those who try to use it as an escape from their own beliefs will always feel resistance. Money cannot enter a mind that secretly believes it is unworthy. It cannot enter a heart that vibrates with desperation. But when you shift the feeling within you, when you cultivate worthiness, certainty, peace, and joyful expectation, you become the type of person through whom miracles can flow. It begins with imagining yourself as someone who can receive. Most people imagine winning, but they do not imagine being the kind of person who wins. There is a great difference between the two. Anyone can fantasize about the outcome. But to embody the energy of someone who receives abundance, who welcomes wealth without fear or guilt, that requires inner alignment. That requires a shift in identity. Identity is constructed not through force but through feeling. Think of the times in your life when things flowed easily. A door opened unexpectedly, someone showed up with help, an opportunity fell into your lap, a solution appeared just in time. Think of the emotional state you were in at those moments. You were not frantic or desperate. You were not clinging or begging. You were in a state of peace, faith, ease, or joy. And because your energy was open, life responded accordingly. Now imagine applying that same emotional state to your desire for financial abundance. Imagine waking up with a calm sense of knowing, carrying the feeling through your day, acting as if you already belong to the experience of wealth. You do not need to pretend, you need to feel. Pretending is mental. Feeling is energetic. The universe responds to energy, not theatrics. When you cultivate the feeling of abundance, your actions change. Not because you force them to, but because you're guided differently. You start noticing possibilities you previously overlooked. You make decisions from a place of clarity rather than fear. You trust your intuition. You follow impulses that lead you to moments that feel lucky, but are actually aligned. This is how the unseen world shapes the visible one. And yet, the biggest obstacle most people face is their own inner dialogue. They desire abundance, while repeating the energy of scarcity. They say, "One day I'll be lucky," while feeling unworthy today. They pray for wealth, while vibrating with fear about bills. They imagine receiving large sums of money, but doubt whether such things could ever happen for them. This split energy creates resistance, and resistance is what keeps the door closed. The feeling that opens the door to lottery money is the absence of resistance. It is the pure, uncluttered emotion of believing you are already connected to the flow of abundance. Resistance is the tension of doubt, fear, insecurity, or impatience. Release the resistance, and what you desire begins to move toward you effortlessly. To release resistance, you must surrender your attachment to how and when. The universe does not respond to your deadlines or expectations. It responds to your vibration. When you trust the timing, trust the process, and trust your inner guidance, you remove the obstacles you've unknowingly placed between yourself and the abundance you seek. Money flows to those who are open to it, not to those who chase it in fear. This openness is cultivated through inner harmony. Harmony between your thoughts and feelings. Harmony between your desires and beliefs. Harmony between your words and your energy. When you say, "I am attracting wealth," but feel anxious inside, you send mixed signals. But when you say, "I am aligned with abundance," and your inner world echoes that truth, the vibration becomes coherent. Coherence creates magnetism. Wealth is not attracted to struggle, it is attracted to alignment. Think of a seed planted in fertile soil. You don't yank the seed upward and demand it grow faster. You trust the process. You water it. You provide light. You maintain belief in its natural unfolding. Similarly, abundance grows in the soil of your emotional state. Your job is not to force the manifestation. Your job is to nurture the feeling. And what is that feeling? It is the feeling of already having enough. Not the feeling of waiting for something to save you, but the feeling of knowing you are supported, guided, and connected to a universe that operates from infinite supply. When you feel complete within, abundance finds you. When you feel lack within, abundance avoids you. This is not punishment, it is resonance. You are always broadcasting something. The question is, what are you broadcasting? Are you sending out the energy of trust or the energy of fear? Are you aligned with the feeling of expansion or the feeling of constriction? Money responds to the emotions you live in, not the words you speak. If you want the door to open, you must first inhabit the emotional frequency of someone who already stands on the other side. People often assume that this feeling must be grand or intense, but in truth, it is subtle, gentle, quiet. It is the feeling of ease in your body, peace in your mind, and gratitude in your heart. These states together form the internal signature of abundance. And once you learn to live in that signature consistently, life begins to change in ways that appear magical but are entirely natural. Consider how many times people say, "I'll believe it when I see it." But abundance does not work that way. You must feel it before you see it. You must believe it before it arrives. You must embody the vibration before the physical form appears. This is the true creative process. The feeling is the blueprint, and the universe simply constructs the reality that matches it. When you understand this, you realize that the lottery is not a numbers game, it is an energy game. The winning ticket is simply the physical doorway through which abundance expresses itself, but the path is chosen long before the draw. It is chosen in the quiet moments when you allow yourself to feel wealthy, to feel aligned, to feel receptive to all that life wants to give you. That feeling, not the ticket, is the true lottery. And if you sit quietly, breathe deeply, and tune inward, you can find that feeling right now. It is not outside you. It is not waiting for the perfect moment. It is within you, ready to be activated, ready to be lived. You access it through gratitude for what you already have, trust in what you cannot yet see, and joy in the unfolding of your own becoming. When you combine these emotions, the universe cannot help but respond. The feeling is the key, not the actions, not the strategies, not the external circumstances. The feeling opens the energetic doorway, and once that doorway opens, you step into a reality where abundance becomes natural, where wealth flows effortlessly, where opportunities appear without strain. This is not fantasy, it is alignment. And as you continue to cultivate this inner state, life will begin to reflect back the truth of who you are, not who you've been conditioned to believe you are. You will notice that small synchronicities begin to appear first, little signs that your vibration is shifting, a message at the right moment, a conversation overheard that feels aligned, a sudden impulse that leads you somewhere unexpected. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. They are whispers from the universe reminding you that the doorway is beginning to respond to your emotional state. The key is to honor these moments, don't overlook them. When you notice them and acknowledge them, you strengthen the feeling that opened the door in the first place. You create a loop of positive reinforcement, where your awareness fuels your alignment, and your alignment fuels your manifestations. This is how the energetic momentum builds. This is how the invisible becomes visible. So many people live their entire lives waiting for evidence before they allow themselves to feel good. They wait for the money to come before they feel secure. They wait for the opportunity to appear before they feel confident. They wait for the lottery numbers to align before they feel lucky. And yet, the irony is that those feelings are the very conditions required for the evidence to appear. You do not wait for the external to shift so you can feel abundance. You feel abundance so the external can shift. To live in this truth requires a willingness to step away from old patterns of fear and scarcity. These patterns may feel familiar, but familiarity is not the same as truth. Scarcity is a learned belief, not a universal law. You learned it from the environment you grew up in, from the people who felt limited and passed those limitations on to you. But the moment you choose a new feeling, you begin to dismantle those inherited beliefs. The moment you say, "I am available for abundance," you break the cycle. It does not matter where you came from, how much you have struggled, or how long you have lived with certain patterns. The universe does not measure you by your past narratives, it responds to your present vibration. And your present vibration is always something you can influence. Right now, in this moment, you can choose to feel differently. You can choose to shift your inner state. You can choose to align with abundance instead of scarcity, faith instead of fear. This is the real power you hold, the power to choose your inner atmosphere. The world will always offer you reasons to worry, reasons to fear, reasons to doubt. But the world is not the source of your abundance. The world is the expression of your inner alignment. When you stop letting external circumstances dictate your inner state, you reclaim your creative power. You move from reacting to creating. And in that shift, abundance begins to reorganize itself around you. It's important to you to understand that the feeling of abundance is not dependent on money. If you try to manufacture the feeling by focusing on what you don't yet have, you create resistance. Instead, start with the areas of your life where abundance is already present. Look at the air you breathe, the sunlight that touches your skin, the opportunities that have shown up throughout your life. Look at the people who support you, the ideas that come through you, the moments when everything worked out in ways you didn't expect. Abundance surrounds you constantly. It just doesn't always take the form of money. But when you recognize the abundance in all its forms, you shift into the vibration that attracts all forms, including financial ones. Gratitude is the emotional bridge between the abundance that exists and the abundance you desire. When you feel grateful, you are telling the universe, "I am aligned, I am open, I am ready for more." This is why the feeling of abundance is the true doorway to lottery money. It is not the numbers that matter, it is your state of consciousness. You could stand with a winning ticket in your hand and lose the money just as quickly if your inner state has not shifted. Without the feeling of abundance, money simply magnifies the energy you already live in. But when your inner state is aligned, money becomes an extension of that alignment. A tool, not a crutch. Most people approach the lottery from a place of need, fear, longing, or desperation. They see it as salvation. But money cannot save you from your vibration. If you feel unworthy now, you will feel unworthy with money. If you feel fearful now, you will feel fearful with money. But if you cultivate a state of inner abundance now before the manifestation arrives, then the money becomes a natural reflection of your inner wealth. This is why your emotional state is everything. It is not merely a part of the process, it is the process. Your emotions are the language through which you communicate with the universe. When you feel expansive, the universe expands around you. When you feel contracted, the universe contracts around you. The external world mirrors your internal frequency with astonishing precision. Think of abundance as a river. It never stops flowing. It never dries up. It never withholds itself. But you can build dams of doubt, fear, resentment, or insecurity that block the flow. Removing those blocks is not complicated. It simply requires choosing feelings that align with the natural current. When you feel good, you open the river. When you feel bad, you restrict it. It is that simple and that profound. The feeling that opens the door to lottery money is the feeling of allowing yourself to receive without guilt, doubt, or self-judgment. It is the feeling of saying yes to abundance without questioning whether you deserve it. The moment you start believing you deserve good things, life responds with good things. Not because you forced it, but because you removed the energetic barriers that were keeping it at bay. There is a softness to this feeling, a quiet strength. It is not loud or aggressive. It does not shout, "I must win." It whispers, "I am aligned." It does not demand proof. It already knows. This is the emotional frequency that attracts miracles, not the frantic effort to manifest, but the peaceful certainty that abundance is natural. As you begin to embody this feeling more consistently, your relationship with money transforms. Money stops being something you chase and becomes something you attract. It stops being a source of stress and becomes a symbol of alignment. You stop needing the lottery to change your life and start allowing your vibration to shape your reality. And ironically, it is in this state, when you release the need and embody the feeling, that you become most aligned with the possibility of receiving sudden, extraordinary financial blessings. You may notice that intuitive nudges begin to arise from within you. Perhaps you feel guided to buy a ticket on a particular day or from a particular place. Perhaps you feel inspired to take small actions that don't seem logically connected but feel right. These nudges are the universe speaking through your intuition. When your vibration is aligned, your intuition becomes clear. And when your intuition becomes clear, it guides you toward the physical pathways through which abundance can express itself. Do not ignore these nudges. They are not accidents. They are part of the energetic choreography that leads you toward your manifestations. The more you trust these impulses, the more aligned actions you take. The more aligned actions you take, the more the universe meets you halfway. This is how the lottery becomes less a game of chance and more a game of alignment. The winning numbers are simply the final expression of a vibrational path you have been walking long before the draw. The feeling is what builds the path. The feeling is what keeps the path open. The feeling is what guides you down the path. And yet, it is important to remember that you cannot hold this feeling from a place of tension. You cannot force yourself to feel abundant if your heart is racing with fear. Feeling abundant is not a performance, it is a permission. You give yourself permission to relax into abundance. You give yourself permission to stop worrying. You give yourself permission to allow life to support you. This permission is powerful. It is the moment you step out of survival mode and into creative mode. It is the moment you stop fighting life and begin flowing with it. When you feel safe, abundance flows. When you feel unsafe, abundance hides. Safety is a vibration just like wealth, is a vibration. And when you cultivate the feeling of inner safety, you create the foundation for outer prosperity. Inner safety is rooted in trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the process, trust in the unseen forces supporting you. When you trust, you relax. When you relax, you open. When you open, you receive. This is the emotional pathway to financial miracles. The feeling that opens the door to lottery money is ultimately the feeling of being at peace with your life while still welcoming more. It is the balance of gratitude and desire. Gratitude anchors you in the present. Desire pulls you forward into new realities. Together they create the emotional harmony that aligns you with abundance. There is no force in the universe more creative than a person who feels good. Not the fleeting excitement of hope, but the steady, grounded feeling of trust. When you feel good consistently, you align with the frequency of expansion. You become a match for new opportunities, new ideas, new pathways, and yes, even sudden unexpected wealth. Not because you are lucky, but because you are aligned. As you continue living in this feeling, you will realize that abundance was never outside you. It was always a vibration waiting to be unlocked. And once you unlock it, you step into a world where the extraordinary becomes ordinary, where the unexpected becomes natural, where the miraculous becomes familiar. And the more you embody this truth, the more life will continue unfolding in ways that reflect the deepest reality of your inner state. And so, as you stand here now, aware of the truth that has been whispering through every word, the invitation is simple. Allow yourself to feel what you once believed you had to earn. Let abundance become the atmosphere you breathe, rather than the prize you chase. Understand that you are not separate from the wealth you desire. You are the vessel through which it expresses itself. Every shift in your internal landscape, every moment you choose trust over fear, every breath in which you let go of doubt becomes a signal to the universe that you are ready. Ready to receive, ready to align, ready to step into the life that has been quietly waiting for you. The doorway has never been locked. It was only waiting for you to match the vibration of what lies beyond it. And now, with this awareness, with this feeling pulsing through your being, you no longer need to hope for miracles. You become the frequency that miracles respond to. Whether abundance arrives through the lottery or through 100 unexpected pathways, it is drawn to you by the energy you cultivate, not the circumstances you chase. You are not here to beg life for blessings, you are here to allow them. You are not here to force outcomes, you are here to align with them. And when you learn to cherish that inner feeling, the calm certainty, the peaceful expectation, the quiet knowing, you unlock not just the door to wealth, but the door to a life lived from the deepest truth of your own power. Walk forward with that feeling. Trust it. Live in it. Let it guide your steps, shape your days, and open every door meant for you. For once you embody that vibration, abundance is not something you pursue. It becomes something that effortlessly finds you again and again in ways more magnificent than you could ever imagine.